What is up, guys? This is the Overleveled podcast, episode 32, and we have, I would say, medium-sized topics to talk about. Not like, a lot of topics, but some substantial amount of topics to really dive into it. And we're going to go really into the small news and then into the big news. What I consider small news is okay. So now, Black Ops 4, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 has been rumored, and very interesting enough, it's been rumored that Call of Duty Black Ops 4 will not have a campaign at all. They cut that, and essentially it's going to have multiplayer, and that's what Treyarch's working on, is just the multiplayer. And that they're going to be having a battle royale mode, and Raven Software will be making the battle royale mode. And, of course, I would think that this game is going to probably be at $60. I know some people are going to be like, no, it's 40. No, it's going to be 60, dude. It's Activision. You think they care about the gamers? No. On top of that, of course, you got the microtransactions, the season pass. What more can you want? And, people will be like, take this with a grain of salt. And then you got Jason Schreier going and saying basically it's, that's what he's been hearing as well. And listen, could it not be true? Sure. But this is Activision. Activision likes to kind of copy everybody in the gaming industry. And, they're going to have a battle royale mode. And I'm thinking, like, dude, this battle royale scene, it's cool and all, but when you get a lot of games trying to capture that, and it's just going to essentially crash that, genre of gaming. And it's just going to be, like, getting very stale, and you're going to have a bunch of gaming companies do that. But to really go back to the point with Call of Duty Black Ops 4 not having campaign, and Treyarch usually tends to make good campaigns. I don't count Black Ops 3, but Black Ops 1 and 2 and World at War were, good campaigns, and I don't know why they just didn't do a campaign. Some people said it was that they didn't have enough time to do it, which then, strikes the question is they should have delayed this game. They shouldn't have made Call of Duty yearly if they can't meet the quota. And for me, it's like Call of Duty shouldn't be annual. It shouldn't come out every single year. It should be coming out every 2 years or 3 years. We've seen that with Assassin's Creed Origins, and that it benefited the series a great deal. And now Call of Duty has become very stale, and they're trying to change things up by copying the competition and kind of trying to make money off of that business model, along with their loot crates and stuff like that. And I think that they're just out of ideas, and that, they're here to exploit the consumer. And I shouldn't expect anything less from Activision, even though, we heard recently, Spyro is being remastered, and I thank them for that. But this game that's being created, it's a no-go for me. Not at all. Like, this is something I will not support, something I don't think anyone should support if this turns out to be true. And we're probably going to find out more about that information either in the reveal in May or at E3 on Sony stage. So this will be quite interesting to see nonetheless. And then I don't know if this will start to change Sony's deal, because I know their deal with the, marketing rights is expiring. And if Sony's just going to be like, listen, we're not about this. We don't really want to associate with you guys anymore for doing something that is somewhat, and I think, actually anti-consumer. But that's really all of my thoughts on this rumor / potentially happening. Inspector, what do you think about this Black Ops 4 not having a campaign and having a battle royale mode and all that?
As you said, I think it's just Activision following trends. I think they're just like, oh, this battle royale genre is big, even though there's like only 2 or 3 current games that are doing it right now. And I feel it's going to tank Call of Duty, as if Call of Duty isn't tanked by now. I feel it's a mistake, because, as you said, I think Treyarch makes solid campaigns. Like, I only played World at War and Black Ops 1 because I dropped Call of Duty after Modern Warfare 3. So, those are my 2 favorite Call of Duty games, are the ones I've played. So, I think it is a mistake to drop the campaign for a Battle Royale, especially since the teaser trailer focused so much on the stories of the previous games of the Black Ops series.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people make fun of Call of Duty on how, like, oh, I only play the multiplayer, or like the stories don't matter, because, like, even though the stories are short, the stories are fun to play. Like, it's a fun 3 hours, one and done.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really have to like worry about it. And I don't think Call of Duty is optimized for a Battle Royale mode. It just doesn't seem like a game that's fit for a Battle Royale mode. Like, the whole thing about Fortnite and PUBG is that they're built for that. And I don't think Call of Duty is built for that type of game type.
And especially with that price tag, that's going to be $60 along with, that expansion pass, which is what, another $60 usually, or is it 40?
Yeah, I think it's like 40 or 50 usually.
Yeah, which is crazy. So it's just like, to me, it's way
a rip-off.
Anti-consumer.
Yeah, it's a ripoff.
Yeah. What about you, Talati? What do you think about this rumor?
Well, the rumor being that it's going to be multiplayer based, it kind of sucks, because I know before, back in the day, it used to be both multiplayer and campaign. But then with the rumor now saying it's just going to be multiplayer, focus on Battle Royale, it's just going to be it's going to be a boring game. And within about 2 months, I'm going to say, just give it 2 months, the game will die out. I'm saying that because the reason why, I know some cards will hate me for saying this, but it's just the fact is that we've got too many Battle Royale games out there. We've got Fortnite, we've got PUBG, we've got Radical Heights, we've got H1Z1. So there's too many already. So I don't think adding Call of Duty to that mix make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just a bit dumb idea. I know you want to try and jump on the bandwagon because it's a big thing. People playing Battle Royale games. It's become more popular over the last few weeks, but over the last few months, because certain people. But I'm just saying, guys, trust me on this. COD, Battle Royale don't go well together. If I was Activision, stick to what they know, which is the single player and multiplayer aspect, and forget about the Battle Royale.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm gonna say.
Exactly. This is a shame what the gaming has come to nowadays, and it's just like, I don't know. It's really, really, really sad. So, all right. Next topic, and it is also regarding Battlefield 5. And yeah, because I don't know how DICE makes these games. It's like they go off of, Battlefield 1, and then go into Battlefront 2, and then go into Battlefield 5. So this is DICE is reportedly prototyping a battle royale mode for Battlefield 5. According to an anonymous source from Venture Beat, The potential mode would feature mechanics similar to Fortnite and Player Unknown's Battlegrounds, where 100 players battle each other until there's only one player or team left standing. The studio is allegedly looking into how it could make such a mode work with Battlefield 5's mechanics. The report also states that even if DICE is satisfied with what it has, the mode won't be ready in time for Battlefield 5's launch this fall. The source also tells VentureBeat if the mode does get that's a typo. So if the mode does get approved, EA could decide to release it as a free update, hold it off, and include it in another project instead, like a new Star Wars Battlefront, or just make entirely a new standalone battle royale game. So it seems like Battlefield 5 is supposed to be coming out this year, and basically the report is saying that they just got to get the go ahead from EA, and they will put it in the game, but it's not going to be in time for the launch of the game. So we would see this as post-game content. Now, because of EA's track record, of course, with Battlefront and the loot box and loot crates and all that, and how they got a big stigma now, and rightfully so, about all these microtransactions. And I think what they need to do is, if they want to, I think they shouldn't even do a battle royale mode, but if they want to win over fans and EA, I don't know, like EA is put into a better light, that they should have this post-game content free. That's what I think, if it gets approved, of course. This should be free. This shouldn't be a DLC or expansion, and this shouldn't be a standalone game that they're making. So I think that would be the best for the consumer and for EA as a whole to help their reputation, right? But for me, yet again, we're getting more battle royale modes, and everyone wants to cash in on this because it is a money cow. But once we start getting more and more, and it gets too much, battle royale is going to become stale and boring, and it's going to get milked. And then we heard, reports like previously we talked about that Red Dead might have a battle royale mode, and it's just getting to this point where it's too much. It's like, we don't need all of this. It's like the same effect like Overwatch and all that. It's just like the company should do itself. The developers should do themselves and create what they want to, and not kind of go into the trend, because trends don't last long. And that's what I really think. Inspector, what do you think about this battle royale mode? And if they do get this approved, should they just release this for free, and this would help EA's image and whatnot?
Yeah, I think, again, as I said for Call of Duty, I think, I don't like it how these companies are just jumping on these trends, because I feel like they don't see the longevity of these trends. They just jump on them because of the current thing going on. Mm-hmm. And for longevity's sake, I think it's a mistake to jump on the Battle Royale bandwagon. And I do agree that it should be free. It shouldn't be an added to the price tag thing or whatever. I think it just should be a free thing, because the whole point about battle royales is that they're free, but you have microtransactions. I know a lot of people hate microtransactions, but if you have a battle royale game, it's gonna have microtransactions, so you're gonna have to deal with them. And I feel like Call of Duty that these games are not fit. Even Battlefield, I don't think is fit for a battle royale mode, even though it's more tactical, but it's way more slower paced than Call of Duty in terms of how you move and how certain weapons feel and stuff, and the damage like gun does. Like, I guess you can say Battlefield is more quote unquote realistic as a first person shooter can get. That's not like Arma or those type of games, but you know what I mean, like of the big two like shooters. Battlefield is considered the more realistic series. And the whole point of Battle Royale is that it's not realistic. You like jump around, you build stuff out of thin air, and like I just think it's not compatible with these games that are like so, I guess, they try to be grounded in reality, but now, especially with Call of Duty, they've gone so far into the future that I'm forgetting the word right now, but they've gone so far into the future that they're kind of just guessing what's going to happen in the future, much like science fiction does.
Yeah.
They're extrapolating. That's the word that I'm thinking of. They're extrapolating what will happen in the future instead of like actually like looking into stuff. So those are my opinions.
What about you, Talati?
I'm on the same wavelengths as Inspector on what he says about Battlefield 5. Personally, though, I hope they don't add Battle Royale mode to Battlefield 5. That's me. And EA better get this game right. If they don't get this game right with the content and stuff, a lot of people are going to be very unhappy. And I know one of my friends will be unhappy because she's a Battlefield player herself.
It's really weird because Battlefield 1 is like one of the most well-received most well-received Battlefield games.
Yeah. But it's like, it's, you know what I mean? A lot of Battlefield players wouldn't want a Battle Royale in their game, and if EA as well don't give out the content for that game, like they did with Battlefront 2, they're gonna lose a lot of people.
Yeah.
But that's what I gotta say, man.
All right. So quickly talk now. And it's going to be a very interesting thing to talk about. Twitter. No, we won't do that. We'll talk about Spider-Man real quick. And we got a little bit of news, a little bit of tidbits here and there. We got one of the news being that we'll quickly talk about one of the costumes has been leaked, one of the ones for the pre-order, and that was the Iron Spider suit. And this is inspired from, of course, Marvel Avengers Infinity War. And I'll quickly talk about it. It looks really, really good. I think it looks awesome. And first thing to talk about is this, right? It makes a lot of sense. And what I mean by that is like, what do you mean? Why not have like the Venom suit or anything like that? No, reason why you shouldn't have the Venom suit is because the Iron Spider suit kind of works as a marketing tool, right? And you think about like, if you go in Avengers Infinity War and you see, I don't know, Spider-Man with that Iron Spider suit, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's a great suit, blah, blah, blah. And then they go and see like a pre-order, thing where it's like, oh, you get the Iron Spider suit if you pre-order Spider-Man PS4, and they're like, oh my gosh, he's like from Avengers Infinity War, he's so cool. And it works to capturing the that person watching that ad to, go and pre-order the game. And I think it's very smart, and I think it's great to also have that skin in it and to lead with that pre-order. And I think the image looked really, really cool. And I don't think in the game you'll have the actual Iron Spider legs come out, but because, I just don't feel like mechanically it would work and all that. But that's my thoughts on that. Inspector, what do you think about, the leaked image for Iron Spider suit as a pre-order bonus?
I mean, it's kind of predictable. But I've actually haven't seen the leaked picture, but I assume it looks fine. Like, I think the Iron Spider suit in Infinity War looks fine. Like, I don't like. It's not my favorite design. Like, I think the spider is like kind of weird. Like, it kind of like mushes together, and like I think it's an okay suit, but not a great suit. So I assume that would be my opinion on the video game version as well.
But does that make sense that they would lead with that?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because like I'm saying, it's like when somebody goes to the movies. Now we're not talking about like us hardcore people or anything like that.
Yeah, like
associate.
General movie going person, they'll be like, oh, that's the suit from the movie. Maybe I should get this game.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of like a way to have that game in that spot, in that release that they have, kind of like leading into it, or like, leading from the Avengers Infinity War is very smart, marketing tool there too. And I think it's going to work really, really well as to get more of that general audience as well. And it's going to be awesome to see. I don't know what the third one will be. I don't think it'll be Homecoming suit, but it might be something else. That's just my thoughts. What about you, Taladio? Did it make sense for them to have the Iron Spider suit as the pre-order and all that?
Iron Spider suit is kind of a good thing for them to actually be a pre-order bonus thing, but I think they should have just, if the game was a bit sooner, like in June, July, it would make sense, but because it's coming out in September, I'm a bit iffy on that. I saw the leaked image myself and I'm like, okay. Now obviously get the legs coming out and all of that. Obviously that's not gonna happen. But it's a bit interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see what they're gonna do. Like with the crafting and all of that. For the Iron Spider suit. It looks like a good design, obviously. And obviously they did take notes. And obviously, I bet you 100% bet you this will get the boosting of the sales for the next month or two till Spider-Man PS4 comes out in September 2018.
Exactly. Quickly talk. They did talk about and quickly go into the Game Informer site. Some tidbits about Spider-Man, because of course they're doing the monthly coverage until it's over and all that. So quickly talk now. So the world actually reacts to Spider-Man, and I find that very, very interesting, because what I really kind of wished. And this is kind of going into more of the superhero games, and the only superhero game I can compare is to the Arkham, and that's like one of the definitive superhero games of all time, because we don't really have another good like superhero game, and this is like the other one that may live up, may be up to that level as the Arkham games. And I think that what I always wished the Arkham games had was some civilians, you know what I mean? And I'm not talking about like freaking daylight, like, like 20 million civilians. No, some. And, we've always gotten the excuse, and I'm talking about all Arkham games.
Yeah, like
except for evacuation. Asylums make sense because that's an asylum. You don't need
Asylum makes sense.
City makes sense.
City makes sense.
Night and Origins. Then
I feel Night kind of made sense, but Origins did not make sense at all.
That's
it's
true.
Like it's a blizzard, but it's like a light dusting of snow.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, like what? I remember that stuff too, and I'm just like, yeah, no, this storm was not bad at all.
Yeah, it's not like the snowstorm that I had, last Saturday.
Exactly.
I would a foot of snow.
I would say about Night though, that was a little like, for me, it's like, yeah, it makes sense, but it was more of like, because of story reasons that they done that though. They could have done that where they're civilians, but they chose and opted not to do that.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why they didn't.
And maybe that's because of the Batmobile, because I feel with civilians in the Batmobile that it would be way harder to drive a Batmobile around the city with civilians around.
Yeah, I mean, but then remember the Batmobile like straight up like flinging people with electricity in like 30 feet in the air. It's like, dude, that person's dead.
Yeah,
but no, that's an all jokes and fun.
Yeah.
But I do wish we had that in the Arkham games now. Well, with maybe Superman. Hopefully that can happen, right? Hopefully we can get the civilians up there.
Superman game has to have civilians,
and I hope they can interact like how the Spider-Man thing is like doing, where they're reacting to Spider-Man. You get to high five, play basketball, and all that, and you get when you're swinging, they're reacting to you. And we also found out J. Jonah Jameson is in the game, but we don't know the capacity of how he's in the game. He has his own radio show. We did see the Daily Bugle and one of like the game play shots and stuff like that of the game. Of course, now Daily Bugle. I don't know how big of a role the Daily Bugle will play as well as J. Jonah Jameson. I would still think that he has the print, the press, with newspapers along with his own radio show. That's what I'm assuming. But that I think that's great to have because all the new Spider-Man games, right? I even think Spider-Man 3 might have been the last J. Jonah Jameson thing we had, or Ultimate, one or the other. I forgot which one came out later. I think it was Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, it was Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, so we never had J. Jonah Jameson ever again after all of it, after all the Spider-Man games. And I think it's great to have him. Now, I wish we can actually see him, but we have no idea. Also, we know that they did talk about, so I'll quickly talk about the thing, right? So this is one of the important things I took away from one of the articles, right? Spider-Man was going to be a little different from the hero we know, but he will be familiar, and he will definitely be Peter Parker under the mask. This is a Peter Parker story. This is not Miles in that suit, which is a question everyone keeps asking me on Twitter. Creative director Brian Impar. Yeah, I've been hearing that too. I've been hearing like these like theories that Miles will like be in the suit like halfway through the game, and I'm just like, no. And I hope they don't, but this is what they're saying. And they also say, he still gets bit by a spider, but we don't really want to go into, big into the origin story. We will uncover elements of his backstory, mostly by collecting Peter's old backpacks strewn around the city. But this is a Spider-Man story that takes place well after Peter Parker became Spider-Man. And that's very interesting. And I think that is a kind of a cool way to get the backstory while not having it influence the game's overall storyline. And I think that's a great way of, will it be slightly different? Yeah, but will it be cutscene or something entirely different, or we read about it or something like that? I think it'd be very interesting gameplay mechanic that they're talking about there. Also, he's a college graduate in the story, and he's a scientist, but Inthahar cryptically won't reveal more than that saying, I can't tell you where he's working because we're actually not going to say until the game comes out. Which makes sense. Which is interesting. I thought they would like reveal that, which I guess story reasons, right? I don't know where he would work. I know theories are going around where he works, but I have no idea. Could it be Tony Stark's place? Who knows? They're keeping that to their chest, I guess. They're talking about his everyday life. Actually, the Spider-Man side of his life is going well, but in the opening moments of the game, right before he leaps out the window to be Spider-Man, a letter slides under his door into his apartment, warning of eviction if he doesn't pay his rent soon. And I think that's great because that feels like a Peter Parker thing, and that's what I think is great. And Dan Slott forgot about this, making him rich, making him like this new Tony Stark, right? And the Amazing Spider-Man runs, which a lot of people don't like right now. and I'm on the same boat. And that's what I really, really think is great. Also, there are infinitely more one-liners, and I think that's great. I think you need to have a lot of one-liners, and they have to be cheesy and something Spider-Man would say, right? And they can't get old, right? They can't be like 5 of the same ones. You know what I mean? And I think that perfecting that is a good thing because it's very quippy. And this is not spoilery, but for example, there's a thing where Spider-Man jumps into a fight between 2 other factions that are enemies of his, and they're fighting each other. And he says something to the effect of, "Guys, I know how to settle this. A dance off." Gage says, "Imagine coming up with 1,000 of those," which is very, Peter Parker-esque. And then also the game takes place the course of a few weeks in October. And of course, we found out that in a way most Spider-Man stories would end, with Spider-Man assisting in the rest of Kingpin, Fisk, after years spent on each other's fierce rivalry. And I think because of Fisk, he's super popular in the MCU's Netflix shows, and that's kind of why they're having him in this game. And I think that's a great call to do. And if I do... And then they're talking about... so... Packet humored us for a question about what words Spider-Man won't be saying in this game. He will not say the F word. Packet says with a laugh. There is one word Bill Roseman at Marvel always gets on us about. I always try to get Spider-Man or MJ to say balls. For some reason, Bill always says, no, take that out. And that makes sense. Marvel is very like... I don't want to say like strict on like the word usage. But like... It's kind of the thing also with the comics as well. And kind of like another thing why I like DC Comics where, Doomsday Clock, for instance, there were a couple of curse words in, I think, like the first couple of issues.
Right.
To be certain. But, yeah. And then also, this is the last part of this, is, MJ, they're separated. They were together initially, and they're separated. And when we started talking about MJ in the game, we didn't want her to be the same character she was in the comics. Makes sense because, actually, no. MJ has been a lot. They changed her backstories a lot of times. So, I mean, this to me still seems familiar because there's the origin story of, the original where she's just like a model. Then there's one of her being Tony Stark's assistant. Then there was one about her being a reporter, which to me, I don't know why they said that. That to me didn't make sense there. But then he said we really try to focus on what would make her feel different from the conversation. Went to okay, how do we have a playable character who's more than just a sidekick? Packets. Mary Jane's an investigative journalist for the Daily Bugle. That's interesting because Peter Parker, we all know, was a photographer for the Daily Bugle, and we haven't heard if he actually does side jobs for the Daily Bugle. Yeah, they talk about, in the 60s and how she was more of like a model, stuff like that. She doesn't wait around for Peter to put on a suit to come save her. In the past, we have seen Mary Jane plead with Peter to stop being Spider-Man for his own safety, but that is not who she is in the story. We're tired of that. That's not what is happening here. She's actually saying, hey, I got a tip about this. You should probably check it out. Gage says. And she's helping him in a lot of important ways. And the Spider-Man community has always been like this. And they've always said, and I kind of always been in the camp where MJ in the comics has always been this damsel in distress. And, it's not wrong, saying that, you give constructive criticisms, right? And, let's be real, guys. Don't you agree that Mary Jane has kind of been in the comics 90% of the time, a damsel in distress, right?
50-50. I wouldn't say 100%.
But more than once, even in like the films. Like
I'm the same. It's 50-50.
Really? I don't know. I've always felt that way when reading. Also, and then you get to play, as her in certain missions. She has her own gameplay mechanics. It's more than just cutscenes. You will appreciate her arc. You will understand her story and who she's actually being here. Also, they're not telling you of what is going to happen, but Mary Jane is to help flesh out what Interhall calls a 360-degree superhero experience. By playing as Spider-Man, you will get a sense of his power and abilities, but playing as Mary Jane will give you a chance to see Spider-Man from a different experience. Or, I don't know why they would put an experience, different point of view. What it's like for the other people in the superhero's life. And then regarding her relationship with Peter, the two have been romantic in the past, and she's fully aware that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Two met in high school, have been dating on and off for the past 8 years. At the point in their lives the game takes place, the two haven't spoken for 6 months, but the events of the game bring them back together. And it's I don't know how to say that. She has Spider-Man next to her, and the stories kind of follow him, right? She's got a partner there, but it's also a complicated relationship. But yeah, overall, I think it's cool. I think it's cool what they're doing, and interesting that Mary Jane is having this different arc and how they're trying to make her different and how they're trying to do a different thing with the superhero genre of video games and having her not feel like a psychic and having a not because they explained it like Peter Parker or Spider-Man has that sense of power, whereas MJ has that sense of investigative journalism and helping Spider-Man out and seeing him in a different point of view. I think that's really, really good. And I think also, again, reiterate J. Jonah Jameson, I think that's cool with the radio show, and I hope we kind of get more radio shows, but I highly doubt them. And overall, she's working for the Daily Bugle, and I don't know if he's going to be taking pictures. But my question for you guys is, do you guys know where he'll work and why you think that's really top secret? Because I don't really even know why that would be top secret, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also, do you think this is a very interesting take on like Mary Jane and what they're trying to do gameplay-wise? And yeah, and also, how the crowd interacts with Spider-Man. You think that's cool and whatnot? And we'll go with Inspector.
Yeah, I feel it's interesting on how they're keeping quiet about where he works, because I assume what they're doing is that the Daily Bugle was like a high school job.
Yeah, I would assume so.
I would assume so, or like an intern, like I don't know if it was like an internship kind of thing, because I think he was still getting paid. Like he wasn't like running coffees or anything. No. But I guess that's like a big plot point on where he's working. Like I don't know where it could be. Like it would be funny if they keep it. It's funny if they like flip it on our heads where they say, "Oh, there's no pizza missions, but his work is as a pizza delivery person."
Oh snap! That would be hilarious, actually. Yeah, I dig it.
That would be funny. Yeah, just the huge misdirect. I doubt they would do that, but that'd be a funny misdirect, though. Yeah, it's interesting, and as you said, I think Kingpin's popularity in Netflix does help, but I think the Netflix audience is so small that I don't think it kind of, because I think Kingpin was originally a Spider-Man villain before he became a Daredevil villain.
Yeah. Originally he was a Spider-Man villain in the comics, and then he kind of crossed over into Daredevil, and then they made Kingpin like be impactful with Daredevil's origin.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. That's all I can say.
Yeah. But for me though, it's like it's gonna be interesting. The game, personally, Spider-Man, and the villains and all of that. Have they confirmed any other villains though? Like besides Shocker, as we know.
Oh, Shocker. what was the other one? Taskmaster. That's the only two ones I know. And then it talked about like a couple images on his like apartment with like Rhino and Vulture, but I don't and Electro, but I don't know if they're gonna actually play a part.
I think there'll probably be a side mission quest then for them.
Hmm.
But that's just me, man. We'll have to wait and see in September.
Yep, September, and also
And
Brian
also,
Etherhart was talking.
just before we move on as well, just to let you know, even in the trailer, not many people picked up on this, but one of the hidden outfits has already been leaked.
Noise.
The wrestling attire.
Makes sense.
It's got not many people picked up on it. If you zoom in on the original trailer, the first one, where he's in his room putting the mask on, there's a picture of Spider-Man versus the wrestler, and you can just see what skin it has. It's blue and red.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a bit interesting.
I assume that 2099 is going to be a pre-order
A skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like even if I look at, maybe you should but
Mute everything. Getting a lot of shit right now.
it's fine. But I sometimes you could tell by the silhouettes.
Yeah.
And in one of the silhouettes, I kind of see like the 2099 like eyes or like the mask. So I think 2099 is one of the pre-order suits.
What other skins do you think as well?
I don't know. Probably the black suit would be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, like there's a lot of spider suits that they can put in. Like we already have Noir. As you said, we have the wrestling suit. I assume 2099 is going to be one. Probably the black suit. I don't know. It's hard. Like I can't really think of stuff off the top of my head. Oh, we have of course, we have the Iron Spider, which was announced, or like leaked, not announced, but leaked. But yeah.
Okay. Quickly talk. It's not really even Spider-Man news, but it's Brian Intihar, who's the creative game director for Spider-Man. He was talking about how essentially, and I'll quickly pull up the thing. And he talks about Sony's first-party studios and how very impressed he is with them. And I quickly talk about it, and then we're gonna get really more into some other like big news with why he said all this stuff. When interviewed by The Telegraph as part of a preview event for Marvel Spider-Man, Insomniac creative director Brian Intihar expressed all of his appreciation for the first-party content Sony Studios have managed to put out, or will put out in the next year or so. Found that Insomniac is trying to make a game of the same level as Spider-Man. We worked with Sony for 20 plus years, right? As excited as I was to work with Marvel, I was just as excited to be working with Sony again. I'm so impressed and awe of what the first party studios do. Look at Guerrilla, what they did with Horizon Zero Dawn. Obviously, Naughty Dog is in town, and we have a long friendship with them. I'm a gigantic God of War fan, and I think what Corey Barlog and that team at Santa Monica are doing is amazing. And look at Sucker Punch and what they're doing with their new IP. We are one piece of the juggernaut, and I'm proud to be part of that juggernaut. For me, we need to be at that quality and deliver at the level those other exclusive games have done. And guys, I quickly give my thoughts right there. And yeah, he is right. Sony is a juggernaut when it comes to the first party lineup and the first party exclusives. And we're going to get into God of War right after this. But it makes sense. And I kind of like how he's saying like this. Like he wants his game to be in that level. And he's trying to do his best to get it into that Sony exclusive. And the same as their first party studios, to get it into that same level of quality. And, saying that Sony's great to work with and that their first party studios are phenomenal. And, they're not owned by Sony. They're, second party, but, they've had a long relationship with Sony. And I think this is great. And I think that was a great thing for Brian Ethahar to say about Sony and about the studios. And I think what he said rings true. Sony has one of the best exclusive games and first party studios, and I can't wait for what is more to come in the next year with Death Stranding, Days Gone, Last of Us Part 2, and those games coming out. It's going to be a great next year along with this great year. Inspector, what do you think of what he said, Brian Ethahar?
I think he's bang on the money. I think, like, if you see, like, the games that Sony first party have been churning out, like, if you look at Guerrilla, they went from making Killzone, which is, like, I like the Killzone series. I really liked Killzone 2. I liked Killzone 3. I thought Shadowfall was okay. Shadowfall was more of like a tech demo more than an actual game, to be honest. But look at what they did with Horizon. They totally switched it up. Did they use the same engine that they used on Killzone, or is it
no, it's a brand new brand new engine, Decima engine.
They built a new engine from scratch, and like you can definitely tell they put all their effort into making Horizon, and it paid off. It was like one of the highest rated games of last year. It was nominated for Game of the Year from multiple sites. And like you don't really have to say anything about Naughty Dog because they're Naughty Dog. Like Uncharted is one of the best reviewed series of all time. Definitely the highest PlayStation rated franchise. Same with The Last of Us, even though it's just one game, it's one of the highest praised games, probably the highest praised game next to Uncharted 2 on the PS3. I was Sucker Punch with Infamous and Sly Cooper. And Sucker Punch with Ghost of Tsushima, which looks amazing. I can't wait till that game. And you could definitely tell that they're just like so passionate about this game and like so passionate about working for Sony and just them making great games.
Yep, exactly. What do you think, Taladia, about what Brian Ethahar said about Sony and their first party studio and that they want to get to that level of of greatness that Sony's first party studio is doing?
I agree with what Inspector said. My honest opinion is that, it's for me it's a little bit difficult, but I'm on the same wavelengths as what Inspector said because I can't put it into my own sentence. But yeah, I'll just say I'm on the same wavelength as Inspector. What he says about the first party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're going to go into the last gaming topics that has some subtopics with it. God of War, the review embargo lifted on Thursday of last week, and reviews are still coming in, and now God of War is sitting at a 95 on Metacritic, at one more perfect score and it hits a 96, which I think is super super good for God of War, and
how many perfect scores does it have? Like 25?
Actually, I think it has more than 25.
The last time I checked, I thought it said 25. Maybe it went up. Maybe it went up the past couple days. I think when I checked it on Monday or Tuesday, whenever the review, like whenever I last checked the reviews,
I think it's
like
32.
25. Wow.
I think could have counted wrong, but it's 32, I believe. Oh yeah, it's crazy. It's like this game is getting the high praise, and one more perfect score and hits that 96 on Metacritic. And right now, it is number 2, the second highest PS4 rated game. Because number 1 is GTA 5, and it is actually the highest rated PS4 exclusive.
Wow, it's above The Last of Us?
It's above, The Last of Us.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's The Last of Us?
It's counting all the perfect scores, so it's like...
I thought you were talking about like the score in general.
No, it does, but like it has more perfect scores. That's how they're doing it. Yeah, because they're both a 95, but because they're doing The Last of Us remastered, so that's what they're comparing it to. And it has more, of those critics and higher perfect scores, right? And and one more perfect score is a 96, and it shows you the test of that Sony Santa Monica Studios has like achieved, right? Sony Santa Monica Studios is on that same level as Naughty Dog now, it seems, right? We can safely assume from what we've been hearing, the praise it's been getting, and it's crazy. And I'm going to say this. It is going to be hard to beat God of War this year in terms of critical reception, right?
Yeah.
Like, even Red Dead, like some reviewers are saying Red Dead is, I don't even think Red Dead's going to win. Some people are saying they don't think it's going to get that same level of critical reception. And I'm even on the same boat, like 95. And if it gets that 96, that's crazy. And hearing a lot of people love this game so much and hearing about like this game was so great and how, combat is really fluid and it works well and the environments look beautiful and the graphics are stunning and playing on PS4 Pro is even more stunning, right? On 4K HDR, and they're saying the characters are great, optional bosses are cool, and they talked about the villain, but they didn't say the villain's name, which I greatly appreciated because I just noticed, right, that in none of the marketing and none of what Cory Balrog has been saying, he never mentioned the villain once in this game, which I found very, very interesting.
And did you see the little like promo video that they have that was like the journey of Kratos? It was like a 2-minute little promo video.
Are you talking about the Cory? Cory's when he was... Yeah, I saw that one. Mm-hmm. And guess what, guys? Last Friday, they on Spotify released the God of War soundtrack, and I had to listen to it. I'm not gonna lie, dude.
Really? I thought don't the song titles reveal spoilers though?
No, I didn't notice any spoilers, to be honest. For me, maybe I was just playing stupid and I just didn't really give a shit and looked at in detail.
How epic was it?
Dude, I'm not gonna do one of my favorite soundtracks. I think my favorite soundtrack this generation, to be honest.
Wow.
I really love this. Like,
yeah.
I think it's Bear McCree or something like that. I don't know his previous work. And let me look what he scored because he just did a phenomenal job. And okay, we're gonna go to IMDb real quick on what he's worked on. And like I said, dude, I love that soundtrack a lot. And it's just phenomenal. He did 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Okay.
He's done some of The Walking Dead, some of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and some of Battlestar Galactica. Shadow Hours, never heard of it. He did some of Cloverfield Paradox. Black Sails, which supposedly the soundtrack is really good in Black Sails. Trouble and Rye, Black Mirror for one episode playtest. I heard that one. That was pretty good. Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Jack the Ripper, interesting. Constantine TV series that did actually have a decent soundtrack. But overall, yeah, I'm looking through it. Yeah, those are really like the big ones. I guess people will know about, like 10 Cloverfield Lane. I thought that soundtrack was good too. But yeah, God of War was, I don't know, man. It was like top tier in game soundtracks. And dude, I listened to that thing like on repeat at times, my dudes. Like, I just really love the soundtrack. And I think it was really cool that they released the soundtrack early for me. And I really love that soundtrack. And just the music and the ambient noise and the drums and the chorus, it felt great. And I'll say this, right? God of War, actually, originally, if there was a comparison picture of the E3 footage, the initial E3 footage that God of War was revealed, and then the final, and it's like way better.
Yeah.
And I was surprised. And that footage from E3 2016 still looked good. And it just looked even better. And it's like, that's basically an upgrade. Where you got like Watch Dogs, right? From Ubisoft at the first E3, and then the retail version. And the retail version looks heavily downgraded. Like super downgraded. But God of War is an upgrade. I was like, that's what I love about Sony's first party studio. They like work their asses off to make the game look amazing. And I just can't wait. Game comes out Friday, and some people are getting early copies. I've been seeing it on Twitter. People like had the game already. I'm just like, how? Just how? The game hasn't released. I don't know how. And I'll say this. I got pissed off, and I do suggest people. Monday, I had an unfortunate incident where I was on the YouTube homepage, and somebody in their right mind. It seemed like,
They have a Let's Play up?
No, not Let's. They had like a scene from the game, like off the thumbnail, the description for the title of it, and I was like, "Wow, that is a major spoiler. That is a major spoiler," and I was angry, and because like on Monday, right? Because the only people who would have these copies would be mostly reviewers, right?
Yeah, mostly.
I got dev kit, the dev review kits and stuff like that, or the review kits, right? And I'm just like, you guys shouldn't have done that. It makes zero sense to post that type of stuff. And I was just super pissed off. And I'm slowly forgetting about it, but I knew, like, I'm trying to like bury it in the back of my mind. And I was just like, wow, YouTube screws me over, man. Don't know why. With the recommended stuff, just stop. But yeah, Inspector, what do you think about these scores? Like,
I think it's amazing. Like, it's like when I was seeing the scores, like I automatically tweeted you with the picture of the Metacritic score.
yeah.
I'm like, you were right, because that's when it was at a 93, and then it went up 2 points to a 95, which I think is just amazing. I can't wait. Like, I haven't even read any reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've seen scores and that stuff, but like that's mainly because like they post scores on Twitter all the time, so it doesn't matter to me. But the one thing that surprised me though is that Polygon gave it a 10. Polygon almost never gives games 10s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the last 10 I remember they gave was for Arkham Knight. That's the last 10 I remember them giving. And I was even surprised when they gave it 10 to Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
Because, like, to me, like, I liked Arkham Knight, but Arkham Knight is not a 10 out of 10 game. Like, I consider Arkham City a 10 out of 10 game.
Yeah, I agree.
I consider, like, Uncharted 2 a 10 out of 10 game.
Yeah, like if I were to be honest, like Arkham Knight for me felt like a 8.5 out of 10 for me.
I agree. I put it at an 8.5. And from from what all these reviews are describing, it's just like the combat is visceral, the combat is great, the story is great. Like I haven't I've just since I don't want spoilers, I just like kind of skim through the reviews. Like
Yeah.
I didn't see anything about Atreus, but I think a lot of good things are being said about Atreus.
No.
Like they say he's a good companion, like he helps you. He's not like in the way of anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so can't wait.
Exactly. Friday can't get here soon enough because Friday's going to be the only day I'm able to play that game.
Yeah.
and all the other, like Saturday and Sunday, I got school stuff because, it's going to be the last full week of classes.
Yeah.
It's like Friday, I'm just like dedicating to playing it. And then Saturday is going back to doing homework and all that. So,
Okay.
So Claudia, this is one of the reasons why you got to get that PS4. God of War is out there, man. It's gonna be awesome.
God of War, yes, I get it. God of War's coming out. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that, but there's money, bro.
Yeah, money, yeah. But I'm saying, dude, once you get that PS4, you got to get that God of War because you got none of those games on Xbox, my man.
Yeah, I understand. It's just like me. I was gonna say it's the fact that I know that God of War, it's gonna be a good game. I'm just gonna watch the walkthrough with Spider-Man PS.
Oh my! Get out of here.
I'll watch your walkthrough.
Get out of here! You're not a gamer. Get out of here! No, I'm just messing with you.
No, it's like until it becomes cheaper, I'll get it then.
Man, I don't even think Spider-Man will beat this game. If I were to be honest.
Because I'm waiting for the bundle for the Spider-Man PS4 and all of that with God of War, then I'll get it.
Mm.
So that's just me, man.
All right, I'm pulling up a tweet right here.
Don't you dare!
Right here, my dudes. Let's do it. This is a interesting tweet, but we're gonna talk about it nonetheless. Here we go. Screen share with everyone. Ryan McCaffrey, who works at IGN, has said Xbox fans are dying to celebrate a masterpiece level exclusive like God of War. Thing is, though, it took Sony 10 years to get to this point where their first party is firing on all cylinder. This work started in the PS3 era. Xbox can or might get there, but it's still going to take a long time. I want to quickly say, I thought the PS3 thing, what he was saying, was incorrect. They've been firing on all cylinders, since PS2 with their first party studios once they gathered like Naughty Dog and all of them with Jack and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, and all those games, right?
Yeah.
But he's right. Xbox fans are dying to celebrate.
What did Phil Spector say?
Phil Spencer said, wait a minute. Where does Phil Spencer's tweet go? Did he delete it? I swear. Because Phil Spencer... I cannot find this tweet. Okay. Let me click. Oh my gosh, where is Phil Spencer? My man. All right, maybe we go to Phil Spencer's Twitter, right? He did say something, right? And
yeah, I saw his tweet. I guess he deleted it.
Let's go. Okay. Here we go. Phil Spencer, our hardware took time. Our service platform backwards compatibility took time, and continuing to grow our first party will take time. A high quality and diverse first party, yes, with single player, built the right way is our goal and what our customers deserve. We can have similar results to what we've seen in hardware and platform.
Damage control.
Yeah. So, Phil Spencer, our hardware took time. We look at Sony and Xbox, right? What hardware did they release? Sony released the PS4 launch. So did Xbox with their Xbox One. Sony also released the PS4 Pro, as well as Xbox did with Xbox One X. Sony released the PS4 Slim, and Xbox released Xbox One S. Sony released the PlayStation VR, and Xbox released nothing with that. Okay, so that kind of takes off what the platform service, what service Game Pass. Okay, that's cool. Backwards compatibility, I could care less. And it's like, to me, it's excuses, right? Sony's been doing what they've been saying and all this, and they've had good first party games. Phil Spencer said single player games don't have the same impact like they once did. And now he's going back and saying, yes, we're going to have single player games. That's very interesting backtracking, right? Now, what do I think? Do I think Phil Spencer is telling the truth, right? Do I think he is being honest with his fan base right now? I don't know. For me, I can only go by what has been happening the past year or so. And Xbox hasn't been getting any good games, right? And I think that Xbox fans need to speak up. They need to say, this is enough. We want games. We want really, really good games. You need to start making first-party studios and start making brand new IPs like Sony is. And I think they need to be vocal about this, because if they're not vocal and they keep protecting the brand and damage controlling for the brand, the Xbox executives are going to be like, I think we're doing an amazing job. Our fans are happy right now. We'll keep giving them mediocrity like Sea of Thieves. I don't think that's the right way of going about things, right? I think they need to start making new IPs and taking the time to make quality level games like God of War, because I can't tell you a game that Microsoft has really gotten to that level of creating something masterful like The Last of Us. I can't tell you a time. The only time I can tell you
probably the last time was Halo 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is the biggest one is Halo 3. The biggest thing they got going for them was Halo 3. Right? And so for quickly talking and saying, do I believe it? I cannot say without a doubt he's telling the truth, right? I hope he's telling the truth. I hope he is, because I have this bad feeling for this year's E3, we're not getting much from Phil Spencer. I think we're just going to get a couple third-party deals from Xbox and maybe Forza, and Halo's not even going to be there. Gears is not going to be there. What else do they got? We don't know. Whereas Sony, we know. And they might be giving us some more stuff on top of that. But Spectre, what do you think about Phil Spencer's response and Ryan McCaffrey's tweet about Xbox fans are dying for a masterpiece level exclusive?
Yeah, as I said, and as you said, I think Phil Spencer, he's trying to be. He is damage controlling, but he's trying to be, I guess, he's not trying, the way he worded it, he's trying not to be really bitter about it. And I commend him for that, for not being bitter about it. But I do think it really shows how kind of insecure Microsoft is at the moment because of their lack of exclusives, because of how Gears 4 bombed, how Halo 5 didn't have the best reception or sales, how their big exclusives keep getting canceled. Scalebound, Fable Legends, like they need to get their act together because they need these exclusives to compete with Sony, and Sony's just killing them. That's why the fans are so like vehement towards like Sony, because to be honest, they're jealous. Like they don't want to accept their jealousy, but they are jealous because of God of War or Spider-Man, especially with Spider-Man, since they don't think it deserves to be an exclusive. But it kind of just shows how insecure the hardcore Xbox fanboys are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel you. Claudia, what do you think about this tweet and about Phil Spencer's response? You are an Xbox fan yourself.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I think Phil Spencer's right. I think Phil Spencer's right in what he says, and what he said to Ryan McGaffrey is all about the hardware. But I think at the end of the day, if Xbox don't get their head out of their bums and give us exclusive games and be like, okay, we're gonna give you a first party game, like as an example, Rocksteady's next project game. Or,
Well, that wouldn't be a first party.
That's definitely not going to be a first party.
Okay, so if you had something like that, that's like second party deal.
And plus, a second party, like you know what I mean though, like what Sony has.
Well, right? Sony, yeah, for Spider-Man, that's a second party deal.
Yeah, so something what Sony has, I believe that's what they need to do, but they're not going to do that.
Yeah, but I feel the problem is that, as I said last week, that this timed exclusive thing that Xbox keeps doing is really blowing up in their face, because what they're just saying is that why buy an Xbox when you can just get it a year later on the PlayStation? And that's what killed Rise of the Tomb Raider. Like, if Rise of the Tomb Raider was multi-platform when it came out, it would have sold way more copies than it did when it was Xbox exclusive for the first year. And that's why the PS4 edition didn't do that well, because of the poor sales, because no one cared by the time the PS4 version came out.
Yeah. But it's just for me though, I think this Xbox just needs to get the head out their asses, but they won't listen. So has Marvel DC fan said something or?
No.
Oh, hey Marvel.
I just got here. Hey.
What's going on?
I just got a plate of food and yeah. So I'm just gonna momentarily just mute throughout the podcast and have that.
Okay. I guess we can move on to the next topic then, Red Hood. Red Hood? You there?
You there, buddy?
Dang.
Oh, there you go.
What happened there? Technical difficulties. Okay, so I was talking, and for some reason, I was saying, "Oh, Marvel DC fans here," and I was like, "Oh, so Marvel DC fan, quickly give your opinions on, I guess, the God of War score of a 95 on Metacritic, and one more perfect score is a 96."
It makes me really happy that the game it's doing so well, and it makes me even more excited to play it when it comes out on Friday.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And did you hear about the tweets Ryan McCaffrey and Phil Spencer had?
I saw it on my feed. I didn't really go into it, but just to give my thoughts now, it's really more apparent that Xbox needs to step up their game and get some first party developers on their side and have quality titles that have the time and love that they really need as of this moment. And I mean, if they wanted to take a page out of PlayStation's book, you have Rare, so like do some classic titles, like do some remasters and stuff. Like the fans are clamoring for characters like Conquer and Banjo-Kazooie to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So this is the last. It's not even really a God of War topic, but this is the creative director himself, Corey Balrog. People have kind of like got an interview with Corey, and people were asking, "Yo, what are you doing basically after God of War?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm taking a vacation, a break."
Makes sense.
It makes sense, dude. He's been working on this game for what, 5 years? Maybe 6? I don't know. I think it's 5 years. Could be wrong. 5 years on this game. And listen, he worked out his ass off. He wrote the story. He helped create the game. He's director of the game. And it makes sense. And I think he should take all the time he wants. Right? And also, people are asking, what would you do next when you come back after that break? And he says, I would like to work on a brand new IP. And I'm just like, Sony, say no more, Sony. You heard the man. Let him make a brand new IP when he comes back. And I think they'll do that. You see that with Sucker Punch. You saw that with Guerrilla Games. I think when he comes back and he's with Sony Santa Monica Studios, they're going to make a brand new IP. And because he's up there with, I guess, Neil Druckmann and those type of creative directors. And Inspector, what do you think about him wanting take a break and then if he comes back, make a brand new IP? You think Sony's gonna be like, yeah?
Oh, they're definitely gonna give him a new IP when he comes back, and it totally makes sense. Like he's probably totally burnt out from the development of this game. It, like as you said, he's been working on it for probably like at least 5 years, ever since God of War 3, ever since God of War 3, because as you keep saying, Ascension wasn't really their A team.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's been working on this since forever, like just fine-tuning the game, and of course changing the gameplay was a big thing for this game. The story, the whole like aspect of Atreus and
the
like,
mocap and all that.
Mocap and the new voice actor for Kratos, because they got a new voice actor for Kratos.
T.C. Carson. They didn't think he was right for the role. Like T.C. Carson, I'll say this: I liked him in God of War 1 through 3, but I don't think with this game he would have a lot of range.
Yeah, because like say what you want about Kratos in the first 3 games, but his attitude and his delivery was very one note.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He's always like, Zeus, I'm gonna kill you.
Yep, exactly.
I'm mad. I have a stick up my butt.
Yeah, and that's what some of the reviewers said. They didn't like Kratos as a character. But in this one, he's super developed. And it's great.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And you think Sony's going to be like, yep, you work on that brand new IP.
Yeah, as you said, like he's up there with Neil Druckmann as like an expert storyteller in video games. So it would be awesome if him and Neil Druckmann teamed up, because like I know they wouldn't because they're in different companies, but
and I think this like little competitive, like friendly family competitiveness between the studios is awesome. First party studios, they try to outdo themselves.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Guerrilla Games trying to outdo, other first party studios, and Sony Santa Monica trying to outdo The Last of Us, and Last of Us, and Naughty Dog with The Last of Us Part 2 tried to outdo God of War. I think that's great. Yeah.
It's always fun having like just friendly competition. Like you're just messing around.
Yeah, it's not like friendly competition with, like, let's say Activision or EA. It's they're basically family, so to speak, because they're
they're like
Sony
all brothers.
family.
They're like all brothers and sisters, and
Yeah.
like they just want to see them like be successful.
Yeah, exactly.
And just like poke fun at whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, they said they talk, on the phone and get like advice from one another too. So I think it's really, really good. Taladia, what do you think about the interview with Corey Balrog and him taking a break, and then once he comes back, and if he comes back, that he wants to work on a brand new IP, and if you think Sony will let him do a brand new IP?
I think Sony will let him do a brand new IP. That's the first thing, and I think it's a good move by him. Just depends on what IP he's gonna do, though.
I don't know, man. I think Sony will just like greenlit everything, dude. Freaking God of War is being sold out on like Amazon like every like other day, and I'm just like, geez, the amount of sales they're gonna get the game is astronomical.
Yeah, I just think it's gonna be a brand new IP. So, I just depends on what I think. We'll have to wait and see, though.
Yeah, I don't think this game will ever come out for like PS5. That game will come out till PS5 though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's just me. But yeah.
Yeah. Marvel DC fan, what do you think about Corey Balrog and with that interview, and if Sony will greenlight this brand new IP, and you think that this break is something he deserves?
Yes, wholeheartedly. I mean, like, they've been working on the game for, like you said, about 5 years or so. That's half a decade. So, if anything, he deserves the longest break he could possibly want. And, I mean, if anything, seeing as how God of War is going to be successful, I'm almost confident that Sony's going to greenlight the project, and it makes me excited to see what kind of things he'll do with this new IP.
Yep, exactly. I was seeing on Twitter, like he was posting something like back to work, but this is the best part of the job, and he's like signing posters and all that, and I'm just like, my man, can you just send that in the mail, please? Please?
Yes.
I want a poster signed by Corey Balrog. Dude, if I saw like Corey and E3, dude, I'd take a picture with the man. He's a cool dude.
Yeah.
All right. So now I guess we're going to do a little transition and bring up some of the questions we do for transitions. And I want to say to everyone, what are their favorite games this generation? And I'll also answer the questions. For my favorite games this gen have to be The Witcher 3, Persona 5, Bloodborne, Uncharted 4, and Horizon Zero Dawn. Those are my favorite games this generation. And Inspector, what about you?
I actually haven't played that many games this generation, so my list is probably going to be short. Uncharted 4 is my top. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag is up there. It's hard. I would probably say Arkham Knight. Again, since I haven't really played that many games this generation. Yeah, like I still haven't gotten around to Horizon. I've just been way too busy with school.
I got you. You got it this summer, man. You got it this summer.
I know.
Working, and then you could play some games on your free time.
Yeah, I'm gonna be taking a break in between. I'm not gonna be taking summer classes, so I'm gonna be completely open during the summer.
Nice, but you still got work.
Yeah. I do still have work. What else? I really liked Mortal Kombat X. I think actually I would put Injustice 2 over Mortal Kombat X actually, because I feel like Mortal Kombat X, it kind of whimpered out at the end, but I feel Injustice 2 was kind of solid all the way through. I mean, with fighting games, there's a longevity problem, but because you could only play the same thing so many times before it gets boring. But like for what it was, I think Injustice 2 was a very solid fighting game.
Mm-hmm.
And what else? I guess I'll stop it there since I can't really think of the fifth game.
It's all good. Claudia, what are your favorite games this generation?
My favorite games are, well, from this generation or from last generation.
This gen.
Right, Arkham Knight for sure. GTA 5. I also do enjoy a bit of Fortnite. That is something I really enjoy. And this gen as well, Injustice 2. Hands down.
Noise. And Marvel DC fan, what are your favorite games this generation?
Well, no, it's a very short list, but I mean, I've got, like you guys, like Arkham Knight's on there, Injustice 2, and I mean, if there's one that really had a huge impact, it would be The Last of Us. Love The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Uncharted 4, you mean?
Yeah, he hasn't played Uncharted. He hasn't played the.
You haven't played Uncharted 4? You haven't played the series?
No. I own the Nathan Drake collection, but I haven't touched it yet.
My man. You got to do it, my man.
I know. I got a ton of games to play.
Mm-hmm. All right.
It's about trying to find the time to actually do that.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're going to quickly talk about the box office. And it's not much. It's not that much, I don't know, news to talk about until, in 2 weeks. So the final figures are in, and this is about the Rampage movie. And Warner Brothers, Time Warner Corporation, New Line Cinemas, Rampage snagged a strong 35.7 million domestic and 151 million worldwide debut weekend. That domestic Friday to Sunday number represents a terrific and promising 3.1x weekend multiplier, which is unusual for a live-action flick in the day and age. The Kid Power Mantis did their thing, helping the film recover from a slightly underwhelming 11.525 Friday gross. Presuming at least halfway decent legs is a moderate win for Dwayne Johnson. And for the mainlined video game subgenre, that it did this despite getting somewhat sandbagged by Avengers Infinity War is all the more impressive. Yeah. And also, I didn't understand why they put on their I guess article title, box office Rampage survive date change, sabotage by Avengers Infinity War. I was like, they didn't sabotage the movie. They wanted to go on the same release window as the Europeans for the same movie, so spoilers didn't get out. For me, I'm not watching the movie. I don't care for the movie. To me, it's not interesting. Rampage, and cool, it's doing decent numbers. I don't think it's going to have strong legs, to be honest. It has this week to go, and then next week it's going to get flattened, to be honest. And I don't think it'll ever recover. Do I think it's going to make back make back the money it's spent? I don't know. I don't think so. That's just me, but overall, I don't know. I think it is what it is, and that's just me. Rampage, not my thing. Inspector.
I'm not interested in Rampage like you. And like it's a like The Rock is a draw. But I think he's stretching himself too thin by being like 10 movies a year.
Yep.
I think he's overexposing himself. And because I know some people that are getting tired of The Rock.
Oh yeah.
I'll never get tired of The Rock because I find him like constantly entertaining. But yeah, like I just feel he needs to like slow down. And I know Black Adam is starting production next year, so I think he should just focus on that and like kind of like clear a schedule, as you can say.
Yep. Claudia, what do you think about this news and about Rampage and box office?
This Rampage box office is a pretty good one. Not the greatest of the Rock's movies, but it's a good one.
You think it's gonna have long legs or no?
It's hard to tell right now.
Do you think it can survive when Avengers comes out? That's my question.
No.
Okay, because it has this week left, and that's about it.
Hands down, no, because the Avengers is coming out next Thursday, UK, and you guys get to watch it on Friday. But I'm watching it Thursday.
I have neck breaker seats because I waited. this like.
I'm getting recliner seats, baby.
I'm seeing IMAX 2D, and yeah, I got neck breaker seats, so that's.
I'm getting
whatever.
Oh, you got front seats.
Because that's the only stuff available, man.
I still haven't gotten my tickets. I've been procrastinating.
I've been like, I wish I got that.
I got the back. Guys, trust me, I got the back seats. I got the best seats.
I think I'm way too late for getting a preview night ticket. I think all those are sold out right now.
Or you're just going to get a really bad seat.
Right? The Avengers Infinity War would beat the Rampage.
Oh yeah, no, it's good. Stomp on it.
Here's a question: what is it gonna make on preview night? What's your prediction?
Quite a bit, dude. I didn't expect that many on preview night, to be honest.
It's probably gonna make double the amount of what the Black Panther did.
And what did Black Panther's person there?
Let me look. Box Office Mojo. You can keep talking while I look it up.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I'll say
that's
this,
me though. But I just think that Rampage is gonna fail after week 2.
And I'm surprised they didn't have a lot of IMAX 2D showings Thursday night. My theater was just one. And I was like, what? Because I wouldn't mind going at 1 o'clock, to be honest. Or 2. I've done this with Star Wars in the past. With Force Awakens. In general, I went at 1 o'clock in the morning. Came back at 4. That was worth. But I don't know. I think, I'll say this about Rampage, what Inspector said. I do think The Rock is going too thin because he's also having that Fast and Furious spinoff movie with Jason Statham, right? And it's just like, I know he's like I'm pretty sure he's the highest paid actor. I believe he is. And that's because of, how many movies he's been in. I don't know how he does it. Like, he's in so many movies. Like, he's always on the, like, I guess, go. With movies, and he just doesn't take a break, which I think he just needs to kind of just chill. But Marvel DC fan, what do you think about Rampage and the box office? And you think it's gonna have the legs to survive, or it's gonna get crushed?
I mean, honestly, I'm not too interested in the movie myself. I think it's just another giant monster mash sort of thing. In terms of its long lasting, absolutely not. No. Like, when Avengers hits, like, that will be dead in the water. But about The Rock, like, I really like the guy. I think he's a good actor. But I think like, for me, I'm starting to get just a teeny bit tired of him, because he's in everything. Like, I mean, every other trailer I watch, he's probably somewhere in the background. Like, he's there somehow. And I think he just needs to, like, slow it down a bit. Like, you don't need to do 10 movies a year. But, I mean,
by the way, Black Panther made $25 million on Thursday preview night screenings.
25 million.
25. So,
I say 38 million.
Yeah, I say around 40 million.
That's
40.
Yeah.
40. I'll be the odd man out, say 38 million. All right. So that is it for that. And then we got one more movie news, and Steven Spielberg is supposed to direct Black Hawk, right? Possibly. Yes. No. Maybe so.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. So, like, how do we find out about this news? Was this like leaked or?
It was a Variety, I think, wrote the story.
Okay.
They just said, Steven Spielberg in talks to writing. They just said writing.
Okay.
They didn't say directing. They said writing and might direct. Or, no, producing and might direct, not writing.
Producing and might direct.
Huh. And like, I'm down for it. Like, I've never really read a Black Hawk story, but Black Hawks is basically like a World War II like fighter squadron.
Huh.
So that totally fits Spielberg.
It does.
So
I would be interested in watching it. What about you, Marvel DC fan?
I'm interested as well, honestly.
Nice. What about you, Taladio?
What was about the Black Hole movie director? Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. I gotta see what Steven Spielberg has to bring to the table. Like, obviously, there was a hint at that movie from Wonder Woman. If you guys remember, one of the actors
was the actor who played Samir was like teasing that he was
the guy who plays Samir.
Yeah.
So overall, I just I'm just saying, I can't wait. It'll probably be 2020, 2021. That's what I'm just saying.
I got you.
Okay.
Expecting anything else then, or?
No, that's all we have.
Yep. And I think we got one more topic, and it's kind of not good news for me. So we got leaked set photos for Teen Titans, and I'm just like, oh gosh.
Yeah. Jeez.
Oh gosh.
For me, I'm like, these are out of context, so I can't really judge them. Because, like, if you see on-set photos, unless they're, like, because, like, she didn't really look like she was doing a scene. She just looked like she was just standing there, like, freezing her ass off. Like,
which one are we talking about?
The one where she's like in the coat, like on the sidewalk.
Talking about Starfire?
Yeah, Starfire.
I don't know, dude. She don't look. I don't know. For me, it's like this. It's like I thought they would paint her. I thought they would paint her, and it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. So, and the hair is just.
Yeah, the hair is weird. I would say that it's like weird.
I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling her Starfire for some reason. I can't. I don't know.
I love how I'm not the only one that pointed this out, but Beast Boy looks like Trip from Power Rangers Time Force.
Oh gosh. That's kind of true. Like Beast Boy, yet again, I wish he was green. I don't know if that's going to be special effects or whatnot, because I don't even know what the budget is supposed to be for this. Because
I don't know.
That's the problem. It's like, and like, okay, this is what I kind of like about, I guess, with Gamora, right? With the Avengers, right? They painted her, and I think that was great, and she looked like Gamora from the comics, and the facial structure and everything. To me, Starfire, even in facial structure, doesn't look like Starfire.
Yeah.
If we're gonna be 100, she just does not look the part.
Like to me, I think the only good costume is Robin. Like,
yeah. I think 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
Like I don't like the Hawk and Dove costumes. I think they're way too armored.
Mm-hmm.
And these costumes are just like meh. Like, and even with the Robin costume, like it's Dick Grayson, but they're using the Tim Drake costume, so it's like really weird. which makes sense because Tim Drake has the best Robin costume.
Yeah.
So it makes
Yeah.
sense. Like, I don't think anyone will argue that Tim Drake doesn't have the best Robin costume.
Oh yeah, no one would.
Like,
I wouldn't argue that, but it's just like I was expecting a lot from this for some reason. Maybe I should have tempered my expectations of this show. For me, it's like I don't know if I'm gonna actually subscribe to seeing this. It's just like now this show's fallen out for me, and I'm just like, huh. Maybe I'll just just get the DC streaming service for Young Justice and call it a day there.
I'll still check it out, mainly because it's written by Jeff Johns, so at least it'll probably be written well.
I think it'll be written well, but I don't know, man. It's just like I don't know what they were thinking. I really don't. The casting choice there.
Yeah, like, yeah, some of the casting choices have been weird. Like, it's weird because if you look at like the youngest one, which I think is weird, is Raven. Like,
oh yeah, she looked like
she's like 15, the actress, and the rest of the actors are like in their 20s.
I don't know why that was a thing too.
Okay, but here's what I think anyway about the whole Teen Titan thing. Some of the other costumes look shit, like garbage. The Batman, not Batman. What am I saying? Batman. Robin costume is probably one of the best. That's it. Robin and the Nightwing costume would be the best because it's a Batman character. They're gonna put budget into it, and pretty much every other character will suck in terms of costume design. They haven't taken effort and time into it. And didn't even do they even with Starfire. Starfire's character didn't even look like what they looked in the photo.
I feel some people are going a bit too far playing the race card against the actress. I think that's a bit too far.
Not like I mean I'm not going on about
I'm not going on to you, but I mean like some other people.
Yeah.
I think they're going a bit too far.
A bit too far. Yeah, I can understand that.
Okay, I agree with him. I did see some hateful comments about her and stuff like that.
For me, it's not about. For me though, it's not about the.
It's not about that for any of us. I'm just.
No. I'm saying he's talking about the extremists.
Yeah, the extremists.
The extremists.
Yeah. Talking about.
I got one word for the extremists to actually say to them: get your heads out of your ass.
No.
Yeah.
And think properly, guys. Do you guys want to be known as a racist comic book fan for the rest of your life? I don't think so. Think twice before what you post on Twitter and all social media outlets. That's what I gotta say.
Yeah, but overall, I don't know. After these set photos, it's like it wasn't like that with Shazam. That's a different thing, but it's like
you know what? Shazam. I got no words for that. Except for Superman's going to possibly be in it. I'm like, whoa.
Maybe. Overall, concluding statements for me: disappointed. Starfire doesn't look like Starfire. Raven looks too young. Beast Boy is not green. His hair is green. Never mind.
His hair is green.
Makes up for it.
Hair is green.
That makes up for it. One more thing I completely forgot. Mark Guggenheim is stepping out of showrunner for Arrow, along with Mendy Marcel. She's stepping out as well for Arrow. And he's also stepping out as showrunner from Legends of Tomorrow. So, will we see improvements on said shows for like Legends of Tomorrow? Hopefully. Will we see more improvements on Arrow? Maybe. I think they announced who was going to be the showrunner for next season. She used to be the assistant writer in season 1, which I think that's good. But then I was also hearing she's a supporter of Elicity, which then I was like, hopefully that's not true. Because that's the thing that boggles. Like, no one knows how to write good relationships. No one. I can't tell you one in the CW I just can't.
The only one I can think of is Barry and Patty. That's the only one I like.
Yeah, no, okay, I can agree with that one. But would have they butchered it if she was still in the show, though?
Probably.
Okay.
Maybe because they were so focused on Iris, even though Iris is not interesting at all. But like mainly because her actress is not that good. But like that's no offense to Candice Patton. I mean, Candice Patton is like really attractive, but like
True.
she doesn't have that much range.
Yep. Do you think the level of quality of these shows that Mark Guggenheim is leaving will increase? Off with Inspector, yeah.
It depends because if they're keeping it within the tone of what Mark Guggenheim like started, I don't think they're gonna change. But I do think Arrow has gotten better from like season 5 and season 6. Because season 4 was a dumpster fire, but like season 5 was a good like kind of recourse, like recorrection, and I think season 6 has like season 6 has kept it consistently solid, even though like they still have like the cliches about like everyone escapes from the police departments, and this whole ongoing plot about the two different teams that has kind of like gone on a bit too long. But I feel Arrow has gotten better over the past.
What about you, Taladia? What do you think about Mark Guggenheim leaving showrunner for Arrow, and Wendy Marcel leaving showrunner as well for Arrow, and Mark Guggenheim, of course, also leaving showrunner, leaving the showrunner position for Legends of Tomorrow.
Good move.
Mm-hmm.
Good move. It potentially could improve the show, get more people back onto the show.
Mm-hmm.
Creative and directory.
Yep.
If you know what I mean. So.
And I'll say this: is like I just cannot watch Arrow again. Well, after season 4, and because of Felicity,
Yeah,
I can't.
I
just cannot.
But
like
that mind in your head, Felicity is in my dreams.
No, like let's be real. Let's be real here. Be 100, right? Dude, the fans of this Felicity, like it's toxic. Like Inspector, have you seen these like people?
I don't pay attention to that fandom on Twitter, so no.
No, my thing is I've watched a scene of like Arrow for like season 6, I think, and then I heard, dude, Felicity. I was like, what have I watched? What like? Does Arrow cater to the Felicity fans more or something? Like, oh my word!
Oh my god, it's Doomsday.
And what, like, one of the things that I kind of don't like is when they say, like, one episode, like this has happened like I don't know a few times in the last few episodes where Felicity is like, Oliver, we should take space, and then the next episode they're back together again. It's just like.
Yeah, dude, it's hilarious because I remember this stuff. It's like we're breaking up. The Felicity fans are threatening Martin Guggenheim and everybody. Like, they better get back together. They better get back together, or I'm gonna stop watching Arrow. And then they're back together, and they're like, "Thank you, you guys are amazing." I was just like, "Wow, you guys just threatened to kill them," and you just like say, "Okay."
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but Marvel DC fan, what do you think about this news?
I mean, it's possible the shows could it could get a little better, but I'm not really holding out any hope for it. I mean, if it happens, then it's cool, but we'll just have to wait and see. And also, talk about Teen Titans since nobody asked me anything.
Oh, I completely forgot. My bad.
Yeah.
You talk about it.
I mean, the set photos, like, I never really had that much hope to begin with the show. I mean, the only thing that it had going for it was Robin. Like, the costume was cool, and then after I saw Hawk and Dove's costume, I kind of just like, yeah, not really that interested anymore. And now it just got worse seeing these set photos. I mean, yeah, like, Raven looks too young, and it's just the costumes, it's just bad. And I mean, I don't mind like when they change actors, like, in terms of race for a character, as long as they're written well and it's consistent. Like, they need to keep that quality good. But if anything, I'll probably wait till reviews come out for Teen Titans to really like decide whether I want to watch the show or not. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Do we have any other topics? Do you guys want to like present or?
I know you haven't read it, but Talati and I have. But Action Comics 1000.
No, you guys can talk about it.
Yeah. So Action Comics 1000 came out today, and today is also the 80th birthday of Superman. So happy birthday, Superman! And I don't think we should go into these stories in depth since Red Hood and Marvel DC fan haven't read them yet. But I gotta say, I think it was a beautiful book. I think that, except for the Bendis story at the end, which kind of felt out of place since it was like an ad for his like story coming up, I felt like each story was timeless in the way it was told. Like my favorites were the Peter Tomasi and Patrick Gleason story, and the Brad Meltzer John Cassidy story was really great. The Dan Jurgens story was really great. Like, most of the stories are really great. I think the weakest stories were probably the Scott Snyder one, because it, like, to me, Scott Snyder is not a good writer when it comes to like short, small stories. Like, he gets like characterizations down, but like it just didn't hit with me. And also the Neil Adams, Paul Levitt story didn't do anything for me, just because like I don't think Neil Adams' art has aged well. But other than that, like, all the stories like encapsulate Superman and the best parts of Superman, like his connection to Metropolis and like his just connection to the like entire comic book landscape of DC. I thought it was a great book. Like, I would give it a 10 out of 10, even with the minor flaws that it has. Like, because the flaws are so minor, they don't really matter. I think Talati would agree.
For me, it's a 10 out of 10, guys. It's a must read, guys. You guys gotta pick it up. If you haven't picked it up, go. What are you waiting for? Go get it.
Yeah.
And guys, I'm not spoiling this. I'm just gonna say, just get the comic book, Action Comics.
Yeah, it's the biggest comic to come out this year, definitely. So
Nice. I heard what the thing you were talking about, the Brian Michael Bendis thing, right? Didn't they, like, I think I was reading on an IGN article or something like that they revealed the villain for that storyline or something like that?
No spoilers, but we're not gonna say who the villain is. But what we can say is that it's a little bit of what is going to be coming up for next week.
It's kind of not next week, because Action Comics doesn't start up again until July when business takes over. Because what they're doing is that this like little story at the end starts in Man of Steel, which is like the 6th issue miniseries that leads into Bendis taking over Superman and Action Comics.
Okay.
And there's a huge revelation at the end that I won't spoil, which I'm kind of torn on, but like I won't spoil it. So
yeah, I'm not spoiling it either. All I say is a 10 out of 10, must read, guys. Lots of stories, especially with the likes of Richard Donner, who is the iconic guy who basically paved the way for superhero movies, and also Jeff Johns. You guys just gotta read it.
Richard Donner, Jeff Johns, Dan Jurgens, Tom King, Brad Meltzer.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's
Yeah.
a lot. There's a lot to read into that issue. So I would recommend getting it. And
Even though it's an $8 cover price, it's totally worth the price
it's
of
totally
admission.
worth it.
And there's no ads, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So
And plus, as well, if you're gonna get it digitally, you'll get all the covers.
oh yeah, well, not all the covers, but
Not
all
all the covers,
decade,
but most of them.
most of them, all the decade covers.
All the decade covers you'll get. So
The cover that I got was the 1970s cover, because the only covers that were available at my store were the Jim Lee cover, which is the main cover, the 70s cover, and the 50s cover. Those were the only
Okay.
ones that were available.
Okay.
I really wanted, out of all the decade covers, I really wanted the 80s cover and the 90s cover by Dan Jurgens. But I did order one of the covers from one of the exclusive variants from one of the websites, and I'm still waiting for it. It will probably come tomorrow or something. It's the one by Kari Andrews where it's Superman and Lois in the sky, and there's this one page. It's not a spoiler, but because it's not really a story, it's more like a pinup. But there's this page that's by Jorge Jimenez, and it's basically
Right.
a callback to the cover of All Star Superman, and it's one of the most gorgeous Superman pages I've ever seen. It's one of the best Superman pages I've ever seen. So
yeah. So I would say, guys, get it. So
Yeah.
we're saying get it. Trust our instincts. You'll love it.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's pretty much what we got to say for today's podcast. So we're doing
quickly, I
outro.
want to say, podcast. We're gonna have one next week, but the first week of May, we will not be doing the podcast. I have finals that week, and that's just not gonna work.
Same with me.
So that's just not going to happen. You guys can understand that, college reasons. But we will come back May 9th. I'm still debating whether or not we should do E3 predictions next week or May 9th, because I don't know if by May 9th there will be more leaks and we want to get more of an accurate, more of our honest, predictions rather than having leaks. So I'm kind of leaning towards, next week, April, to do E3 predictions, and then go into May 9th. And that's an update as to giving you guys a quick heads up that the first week of May there will not be a podcast. Guys, I want to say, if you liked this podcast, give this a thumbs up, and if you want to share this with your friends, share it. And also, if you want to see more content from us, hit that subscribe button and also hit that bell notification so you guys can get updated as to when the podcast is live and also when it's processed and all that, and you can see it later. And also, I'm going to be playing God of War Friday. Don't know if I'll live stream though. I know I'll definitely be playing Friday. Debating. Who knows? I may have it on this channel. Don't know. But yeah, Inspector, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at the Inspector.
And Marvel DC fan. I heard about the Telltale stuff, man.
Yeah.
Explain the situation and explain where they can find you at.
So what happened was, when I was recording the first episode of The Walking Dead Season 2, a bunch of technical problems happened on my end and the game's end, just some errors that occurred, some bugs and glitches. And then about halfway through the last part of the first episode, the game crashed. And I'm honestly I'm not really that psyched about recording everything again, just because I don't want to say a bunch of stuff that I've already said before, and it kind of gets a little tiresome. So what I'm doing is that I'm saving Walking Dead for next time, and then we're just gonna do Batman for right now. So after Batman, and the next time we'll do a Telltale game. I know that we'll do Walking Dead. So.
All right. And Claudia, where can they find you at?
You guys can find me on Twitter, which is at mtaladia. You can also find me on YouTube, which is Taladia Plays. You can also find me on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Taladia Plays, where I will be streaming Injustice 2, guys. Later on today, UK time, I will be doing Superman Day as to, the 80th anniversary for Superman. I am going to be grinding out for new gear pieces and also be trying to, talk about Superman and his 80th birthday and giving you a whole long of history about the character. And if you guys want to learn about the character of Superman, then you guys are more than welcome to join me for that. That is going to happen today. I will be on YouTube. As far as YouTube goes, guys, I'm currently working on something with RNG Gamer, who is a good friend of mine. So we're going to be collabing, doing a collab video sometime soon. We've possibly been talking about Spider-Man PS4, the Avengers project, and even, WB and Rocksteady. We'll be focusing on all of that coming to the near future. We're just finding the right time and the right date to find a suitable time where we can make the video. So, with that further aside, guys, that is going to be it.
Yep. And quickly say, you guys are PlayStation fans, 17 and up, make sure to go and get God of War. Just go and support it. It's going to be a great game, and they need that level of support. But guys, this is the Overleveled Podcast. Signing off.
See you guys.
Peace out, guys.